Hello and welcome to Game Soup, the attempt at a game design podcast with me, Chloe Montgomery, and
Kayla Dice. I just said my name very dramatically.
well, you gotta.
Yeah.
It's a very dramatic name.
Yeah. It feels like the kind of name you could throw at a person.
Having objects in your name does help.
That's true. I see. Whereas I reckon you could hit someone with a Chloe Montgomery, like a bat.
It's a long name.
Yeah. I think I am imagining people literally holding the names, and I'm like,
Yeah.
mine it stacks on top of each other, and you can chuck it. Chloe's, it's long, stick it to a bat, hit someone in the shins.
Exactly.
Game design. Games.
Yeah. So we are semi-professional game designers. Kayla's won awards. I've made money.
Yeah. I'm award-winning, best-selling.
Yeah. What's the name of the award you've got?
I am a Deanna Jones emerging designer.
Cool. And I'm Kayla's friend. So together,
you are the creator of Goblin Country, of Tournament Arc, of the Levante papers. How do you say Levante?
Yeah, like that. Levante.
Sick. I'm very.
It's got an accent on it, but it doesn't really mean anything.
Do you spell your name with an accent? Sorry, I need to focus.
Chloe is just normal British filth.
British. We are game designers.
Supposedly.
Yeah. And we are inviting the listener into the game design kitchen.
Yes. Where we're going to throw two ingredients together and see if it makes some game soup.
Game soup. We should... I realised... So we solicited suggestions for words from Twitter.
We did.
We have not agreed which words we'd pick.
Absolutely not. We're just going to bring them.
Yeah. And I'm like... I thought we should count down and say them at the same time.
Yes, absolutely. My idea for this podcast is that we would each bring a word, and then we would throw them together into the pot and see if we could make a good game out of those ingredients. So we have solicited some ideas from social media.
I said Twitter earlier. I named a website.
It's Twitter in my heart.
Yeah.
And we are going to try and make some soup. To be clear, we're not going to actually publish these games unless something actually grabs us by the hair.
Yeah.
So,
it's the idea explains. I think it's like, you can't buy the food they make on Saturday Morning Kitchen.
Yeah. This is a cooking show, but for games.
Yeah. And a lot of it, maybe I was about to make a Here's One Made Earlier joke, but that's Blue Peter. That'd be really funny if we did one episode, and then at the end of it revealed, we made this game 3
We
months
already
ago.
made this game. We've been spitballing something that's already been fully produced.
Yeah.
No.
But no, instead we'll just throw ideas into the soup, explore it, smell the soup, smell it, put our nose above the pot.
See if it needs seasoning.
Yeah. I guess I was about to say these are the spices, but these are the ingredients. Okay, I know which one I'm going to say, and I'm hoping it's not the one you say.
I am not going to look at social media. I'm just going to say a word.
Okay.
So that we're not getting any sort of interference.
All right.
So let me think of a word. Okay, I've got a word.
Sick.
So, 3, 2, 1. Frog.
Frame. Did you say frog?
I did say frog. And you
frog
said frame.
And frame.
Okay.
Frame was a suggestion. I will credit where this
yes, who said
suggestion came from. It was from Vidicia Valetti, creator of Bloodbeam, Badlands, and other things over on the website formerly In My Heart, still known as Twitter. Yeah. Suggestion was frame. I really like frame because I feel like this could be taken in a lot of different ways. And then we have frogs. Or was it frog singular?
I just said frog singular. However you want to take it. Do you have any ideas spring to mind as you hear those words?
Frog frame. I feel like you are a frog, right? I feel like if we have frog in the game, it is we are conning people if we do not allow them to be.
Certainly, frogs must be a major character.
Yeah. Maybe like other kind of amphibians as optional classes, but they're not getting on the cover.
No. So from you're saying that, I'm thinking it's like you're playing as a frog. It's a sort of Animal Crossing, but you're in a pond.
Ah. I'm now like, what are we taking frame in? Are we taking like photo frame?
In
Mech
my head,
frame?
I'm thinking, well, I'm thinking you're a frog in a picture shop.
Ah.
Maybe you are a frog photographer.
Frog
Frogtographer.
Frogtographer, yeah.
Solved it.
Yeah. That's probably what the name of the game is.
Sorted.
Yeah. So you're a frogtographer,
Yeah.
presumably taking photos of all of your froggy friends. Or
Yeah.
just a local village.
The environment, yes. I think this is maybe a one-person journaling game, maybe?
Yeah, I'd guess. On one hand, I feel like it could really be about like the relationships with the people the frog knows.
Yeah.
But like that either means those people are card prompts or everyone is playing the frog. Like the frog is not a person who is played by one person. It's like, yeah, you're all taking in turns and playing the frog photographer,
and then other people play the other amphibian. I can't say that word in the pond.
I am definitely saying it wrong, but that's because I can't pronounce the. Is PH and TH different sounds, or are they the same sound?
I don't know. I had to do speech therapy as a child to get that sorted, so I'm definitely not the right person to talk
I
to
should have and didn't, and now just say it wrong. Realistically, the rise in cinema of 4 was a dreadful thing for me on a personal level.
Well, not to get into a tangent, but I was working at a cinema when Love and Thunder came out, which was the 4th in the franchise.
4-4.
4-4. And of course, you'd have parties of 4 for 4-4 in screen 4.
And the thing is, I can't even hear the difference. This is the thing I say to people, and they're like, no, that doesn't make sense. And I'm like, no, you're saying for the god and for the number, and I'm like, you've said the same thing twice.
Exactly.
I don't hear the difference. I can't say it, but beyond that, it's not even like, oh, I can't say this thing I can hear. Frogs, amphibians.
Frogs.
Frogs. Yeah, I figure like either it's solo or it's, of sort of. I heard someone on a podcast once call that thing of like, you swap around character roles as like character non-monogamy.
Character what?
Non-monogamy.
Oh.
I think I once in a game referred to something as rotational custodianship.
I like that better. That sounds like an actual like capital letter term.
Yeah, it's a thing that I think makes sense, but also I feel pretentious writing it. Which is not a shame. It's not a shame. I feel pretentious writing most things.
Get it in a nice font and you can get away with it, really.
Yeah, frog photographer. So what other kind of animals do you think, or do you think it is mainly all different kind of frogs?
You saying about rotational custard? Rotational custard.
Rotational custard.
There you go.
That's the GameStop spin-off.
I'm thinking it's like, how on like Belonging Outside Belonging, you pass the settings around, you're passing the frog around, and then everyone else has like their role in the village or whatever it is. So it's like one person's playing the mayor and suggests, oh, we need the frogtographer to come take photos for the new library that's opening, and then other people as their characters, complicate the matter. I'm trying to work out what the actual mechanic of frogtographing is.
Yeah, this is in my mind. I was about to say, this is starting to feel like it has like an element of Fiasco, but then I'm remembering I've never played Fiasco.
Me neither.
At one point in where I used to live, people came round to play Fiasco, and I think there was too many people, so I had to go away. Or, no, wait, I've misremembered. That happened to me once, but that wasn't at my house.
That was just your life.
Yeah, it's not. I'm not going to dwell on that story because it then like goes into weird fun areas. No, the reason I didn't play Fiasco is I was going for lunch with my mum. That's an entirely benign story. But I mean, like, I got a vague sense of like, oh, this is a bit like I feel this is both like slice of life, but also maybe a bit screwball. If the town is constantly making life a bit more tricksy for the
Yeah.
Frogtographer.
No, I definitely like it as a slice of life. Like I could imagine this as a kids' TV program where the photographer has to just take pictures of life and
Yeah.
in this screwball town.
I've definitely imagined, for some reason, when we're like the mayor, immediately my mind created a character who is a mashup of the mayor from Nightmare Before Christmas and Everett St. Clair from Disco Elysium.
I think that's a pretty good pull.
Yeah, I don't know, for some reason I was just like, the new children's hospital is opening and Frogsy is nowhere to be found. Whatever will we do?
So is the photographer, is the fact that he's a photographer completely ancillary to everything he has to do? Like he just has to solve the problems for all these people. He's like
Is it?
Postman Pat, but he is a frog photographer.
I think yeah, it's like the reason he's approaching the situation, whatever the situation is because he's the photographer for it.
It's the framing device. We're back to
But then like he's not managing the perfect frame. It's like, oh, there are all these problems. I reckon like you easily get like a session out of like Frogsy. I don't know why I've called him Frogsy.
It's a good name.
It is, yeah. But I don't know if this is a named character or not.
I kind of like it in like a Yazebas sort of thing, where everyone's a named character.
Yeah, I was starting to wonder if we've drifted in that direction slightly. Because I was just going to say, oh, I can definitely imagine an episode where Frogsy's at a wedding, being the wedding photographer, and like all sort of stuff is going wrong with the wedding, and Frogsy needs to...
He's got to sort it all out
so
that he gets the perfect photo. He's not going to get a perfect photo if everyone at the wedding's upset.
Yeah. And realistically, like, that's why they're doing it. Like, for the love of the game. I think this is a kind of thing where, like, if you have drawing skill, this is probably really fun to play a session of, and then at the end, like, you draw the photo Frogsy took.
That's really cute.
I don't, so...
No, absolutely not, but we can just pretend that our players have that.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. If I played it, I'd always have to bring in, like... No, to be honest, actually, I would probably find this fun, because I would draw the photo anyway, and it would be bad, and I'd show it to my friends, and because I've done effort and have tried hard, and I'm saying, I'm proud of this, they'd all have to go, that's nice.
That's nice. It's like a children's drawing. It's in crayon. If you pre-order it on Kickstarter, you get a drawing pad and some crayons.
Oh, that's a Kickstarter thing I should start doing. I once had a review of a game. I used to include art I did in games of mine, and I stopped doing this mainly in response to one review.
Okay.
Which said it has art deliberately reminiscent of a 12th grader's drawing. There was no deliberate there. I'd just given it the old college try. And
I did that once, but for a one-page game I didn't charge for.
I don't think it was for... I can't remember. It was the first edition of How to Embrace a Swamp Creature had, like, crude drawings I did. Which I knew were crude, but I realised that when people were commenting on how bad they were, I was like, I no longer enjoy this. I'm not putting things I draw in games anymore. Actually, I say that. I then remembered I have drawing in Transgender Deathmatch Legend.
But you got away with it then.
Yeah, it's because like most of the anchoring art is like photos that I fucked up. Which I do that. I mean, that's the thing. I'm underselling it by saying I don't put art I do in my game in my games because I do. It's just I don't put drawings anymore. Mostly with that one exception.
This is why I just pay people to do the art for me. It's much easier.
Yeah, it looks nicer as well when I do it.
So, I think I'm quite happy with Frogtographer.
Yeah, I feel. Do we knock another one out?
I think we have time for another one.
Yeah.
Right, I'll get an idea from the social media formerly known as Twitter, and you think of a word on your head.
On my head, on the top of my head,
See, this is why it's useful to just have tat.
Yeah.
On your desk.
I have so much tat on my desk. Hello dog, felt dog, watermelon spinner, cheese, can of Monster. None of these are single words.
No, pick one.
I've got one, and maybe if depending on what you say, I might go. I want to go again. I don't stand by it.
Oh,
I
you
don't
don't
like.
get a go again.
Oh,
As soon as you
yeah.
say
Oh,
the ingredients in the pot.
it's dissolving into the broth, and you want to go again?
Exactly.
Okay, I think yeah. Are you ready?
Okay.
Have you grabbed your
I've
thing
got one,
from
yes.
X.com?
Yes.
3, 2, 1. Flirting.
Menace. So I said menace.
And I said flirting.
Yes. Menace comes to us from at Jelly Muppet, Zach, friend of the pod.
Friend of the pod. Instant friend of the pod. I feel everyone in that comment, Frank, is like they're the first friends of the pod.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, didn't know there was a pod, they're friends.
Absolutely, yes. So we know Zach from being Soul Muppet and just a general good lad. I don't know.
Don't think they'd take lad as a descriptor, but though I take lad as a descriptor all of the time.
Yeah.
This is reminding me. I'll get to Flirting Menace, but I want to share a very funny story of something I did recently. I was talking to my best friend. I think we were listening to something where the phrase bros came up. And then I was just asking, I was like, hey, who are your bros? I was asking this to my friend, who I know all of their closest friends and trans women. And I'm like, this is psychological warfare. I am asking them a question that they are completely unable to answer and feel good about themselves. Just bros.
I'm thinking about it, and I think my bros are my cat Holmes and a non-binary person who I will not name.
Holmes is such a bro, though. Flirting Menace.
Yes, it's you.
Ah. Yeah.
So I'm thinking. I mean, the word monster is still kind of stuck in my craw, but I'm thinking it's something like that one Jackbox game where you are monsters flirting with each other.
I don't know if I've played that one.
It's middling. I think it would be better as a board game. That's my review of Monster Seeking Monster.
I'm thinking like Monster Prom.
Monster Prom, that's also something.
Yeah, I feel like going in the direction of Monster is better than going in other directions with whatever Menace could be.
Menace feels a bit violent.
Yeah. That's why I was like, when I put Flirting in, I'm like, this could combine with something where I'm like, I don't want to do.
Yeah.
Whereas Monster, I think, is fun.
Yeah. However, Menace is still in that soup, so we've got to grapple with it at some point.
Yeah, I feel like Menace can be.
Well, you are a monster.
Sorry.
The common mortal. Not you yourself.
I thought that was just you randomly like going for me, and I was like, episode 1, and we're turning on
Kayla dice.
Well, you're a fucking monster. I was just like, whoa, I just got here. Yeah, you are some kind of monster.
And you are too menacing for the common mortal to love.
This is a question, yeah. Is this menace on menace action? Or is this
menacing, like adjective,
menace? Yeah. Or is this menaces monsters seducing humans?
Menace the Menace, but it's a flirting simulator.
Dennis the Menace. Oh. I love when I'm out in public and I see someone, I'm just like, oh, you've accidentally dressed as Dennis the Menace.
I used to have a jumper that was red and black stripes, and I always thought, oh yeah, this is my Dennis the Menace jumper, but then someone said, oh, you're like that one horror movie guy, and I cannot remember the name. It's like
Krueger.
Freddy Krueger, same jumper.
God, yeah. If we have any American listeners, we should also explain that, like, there are 2 Dennis the Menaces. Like, you have a different one from us.
He's like Horrid Henry, but from the 60s. There you go. Yeah. That's all you're getting.
But no, there's, like, the little American blonde kid who's Dennis the Menace.
But he's, like, a charming menace, whereas Dennis the Menace is like, I am going to burn down your fields.
Yeah, Dennis was a legit menace. I don't think should be flirting with that kind of menace. Or supervillain menace.
Oh, I like that.
Supervillain flirting is interesting.
Yeah. So you've got to manage your love life in between your evil schemes.
I feel, yeah, like this is almost. Now I'm wondering, like, oh, do you almost do something with like a variety of dates while also being like. I feel like this is almost like a week, like day by day in a week thing. It's like, oh, you went on this day. Unfortunately, like they were a superhero in disguise. It
Ah,
wasn't going to work out. Oh, there's this one. They were unfortunately right at the center of this scheme. It was going to be, mixing business with pleasure in a way that was
yeah.
awkward.
Somebody else was too focused on their nemesis.
Yeah,
Very clearly in love with their superhero. Can't
yeah.
be helped. Can't be helped.
I feel like this is almost like a series of bad dates,
Yes.
like a bad date simulator in between doing supervillainy.
My brain is thinking of there was something I can't remember who it was, but it's like you've got to balance all your different meters. It's like, can you balance your dates with your danger or whatever?
Yeah,
And if you go too far in one direction, it's not Honey Heist, but something like that. It's like Honey Heist, but there's 3 meters. I don't know.
like an X. Yeah. I'm also now suddenly thinking, like, oh, for some reason this is giving me like a vague sitcom vibe almost. So I'm like, maybe this is a case where like you're a couple of supervillains.
Oh,
Not like a couple, I mean like maybe you're like however many supervillains there are
yeah,
and however many players there are supervillains and focuses of dates. I guess you have like maybe on a session by session basis an A plot and a B plot and you decide like, oh, is the A plot someone's danger or villainy, or is the A plot a romance thing, and then
yeah.
the B plot is always the opposite.
It's giving that one episode of Phineas and Ferb where Dr. Doofenshmirtz goes on a date and Perry's like, okay, I guess I'll help you on this date.
Yeah, I feel like you get definitely something where it's like, oh, a supervillain is going on 2 dates with 2 different people and
Whoa.
has to do costume changes while also doing a crime in the middle.
Of course. So, what's the mechanic? How do we play this game?
I like feel like cards, maybe? I don't know.
Like a deck builder?
Yeah. Have you played Song of the Sojourner?
I have seen Alyssa play it. Does that count?
Basic. Well, I was just thinking there, it's like, oh yeah, your conversations and how much you can like. I'll also throw it out there. I've also not played it and saw someone else play it, but I'm just like, oh yeah,
No.
that's matching in conversation. So I'm like, maybe that's like, yeah, maybe it is a deck builder, and it's a thing like you have a certain number of cards that are about like villainy versus a certain number of cards that are about like
Yeah, it's like at the
romance and
end of each
flirting.
round, you've got to have progressed your like villainy meter and not let your date's interest in you fall too low.
Yeah, and I guess as your deck changes, it could be like you're really unsuited for villainy nowadays. Like,
Yes,
not only you should go become a hero, but like maybe retire.
exactly.
Or versus like, oh, you are not in a position to be dating right now, but the villainy,
Yeah,
you're killing it.
A tier villain, but
Yeah,
I like
uh,
this. It's got scope for like a couple different endings. It's got the storytelling is natural in the gameplay of it.
yeah. I feel this is initially I was like, says this like a cards with Oracle. I'm like, no, this is probably you need to print a custom deck.
Yeah,
This is why I'm so glad like we don't actually have to commit to any of these ideas.
God no.
It's like, yeah, no, we print a custom deck. We pay someone for all of the art of the super hit villains. What else could we put in our game suit fantasy budget?
I mean, if we hit the Kickstarter goal, it's not just a print-out deck; it's a full deck of cards that you get in the mail.
Yeah, and as a, I was like, oh yeah, and I guess there's a $500 tier of I'll go on a awkward date with you.
Oh God, no! That sounds like $500. You get to stab me.
Ah, yeah. Oh, I go on an awkward date with you in a public place, multiple witnesses, and I am willing to go on my phone the entire time.
And there is
If
no
I
second
don't.
location.
or we put you in the game as a bad date.
I feel like that's more possible.
Yeah, yeah.
Jesus.
What is this game called?
We need a name, yes.
Ooh, like, I'm trying to think of puns. I feel this is a name with a pun. Like, whereas Frogtographer was just like a crunchy mashup, I feel like this is like speed dating. I'm now like, how do we break? I'm trying to remember all of the like vague villain.
Flirting with danger.
Flirting with danger's good. Yeah, I like that.
So I think I'm happy with that. Flirting with danger. I think Frogtographer is the one. If I was going to take one of these two to develop, it's probably Frogtographer.
Yeah, I'd really like to play Flirting with Danger. I feel like I would not want to.
I don't want to make that game.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe I'd change. This is the thing, I've consistently thought this about superheroes, where, as someone who has liked superheroes in the past, maybe like less attention to them now, I'm like, yeah, I feel like I probably could write something interesting on superheroes or supervillains. I just don't have any interest in doing it.
It's like writing a game. You've got to commit several months of your time to this one thing.
Yeah.
You've got to be really into it.
It's a strange thing also where I'm just like, oh yeah, I feel like most of what I'd find interesting in a superhero game has been done in other places.
Yeah.
So I don't feel it would appeal to me, even though I feel like I have enough knowledge and interest I could start doing something I'd enjoy, but it would be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
What a weird note to end on.
So, that was Game Soup.
Yeah.
Call it the pilot episode. Where can people find you on the internet, Kayla?
You may as well, if you want to find every single place you can find me, go to socials.ratwave.uk, and then that has a link to all of the social medias I am nominally on. I don't use co-host anymore. It didn't grab my attention enough. And I've not started using Instagram again. It has the links to all of them, and you need to click through of the ones you're on and make a decision. Does it look like she's around? Because a lot of time the answer is going to be like, nah.
This is the interactive portion. You've got to work out, does Kayla use this social media?
That's where you can find me on social media. Otherwise, go to ratwave.uk for general links. You can find where to buy my games physically or digitally or
spiritually.
Yeah, I have a blog. I have a newsletter. I need to write a newsletter tomorrow or yesterday or whenever this is coming out. Yes. Where can people find you, Chloe?
They can find me all over the shop, really. I use Plumtree Chloe on everything. Well, I was trying to stop using X, but I guess I'm back on X. Blue Sky. I don't know. Those are the only really ones I use for marketing.
Yeah, add us with word ideas you want us to use on
Absolutely.
Blue Sky.
Probably, yes.
Or do it on Hex, like I'll see it. I'm not off there, but I should be.
Maybe we'll get a Tumblr, who knows?
I'm on Tumblr.
I'm on Tumblr, but I've had that account for 10 years apparently now, so...
Damn! I remade my account when I went back to Tumblr. But I am on Tumblr. This is why I said socials.ratwave, because my things are not the same anywhere. On Blue Sky, I just got Ratwave. That felt great.
But then you got Kayla Ratwave on X, and...
Well, I'm Ratwave GH on X. I think... God. Yeah, and then I think on Tumblr, I'm Ratwave Kayla, which is also what I am on Instagram. Like, Ratwave is distinct enough. If you search Ratwave, I reckon you'll find me. But, like, go to socials.ratwave for the big directory. And then there's also the fun puzzle of, like, does she have a co-host account? And the answer's like, yeah, but also not really.
Yeah, I mean, you can Google, or however you like to search the internet, Biscuit Fund Games. You'll find my work. So, yes, thank you for listening to Game Soup. Any closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts. I think the frogs are pretty cool. Just putting that out there for the world to know.
Thank you for listening to Game Soup.
Thanks!